I was just pronouncing our
Is that what it is?
Oh, we're live.
We're live. Yeah, I'm punishing you because this woman.
So, first question to Victoria: how do you pronounce your surname?
You're in so much trouble. Hello, everybody. Hope you're well. I need to change my glasses because these just look like bottles, and these are a lot clearer. Oh dear. Right.
There we go. Oh, my spelling's shocking today. I'm
Is
just
it?
going live on my Facebook, so I should be coming live shortly onto mine as well as yours. There we go. I think we're on. We're on. We're so professional, aren't we?
Oh dear. Well, no. Do you know what? It doesn't really matter. Do you know? It was so funny. I was having a conversation today with somebody, and I was like, "I'm so chilled, maybe too chilled in certain aspects." And
I know you're definitely not too chilled.
Do you not think I am? I think I have my moments, don't I? I have my moments.
I think there are things, and probably similar to me, but even more so with you, where there are things that you will let slide and you'll be quite back and you're going with the flow, but there are some things that you are definitely, you've got your opinion, and that's how it has.
And that's that.
Yeah, and that's that. And you
that's it.
Agree, or you don't let people, like, you're not going to let people walk all over you or anything like that. So I think you're very, like, in that sense, you're very, like, tough. And I suppose they are maybe two different things, but yeah, it's a bit laid back, but not that.
Isn't it? Yeah, well, do you know what? I don't think we can all be one-dimensional.
No,
you know what I mean? I don't think. Yeah, I don't think we can be and stuff. So, yeah, I think. Yeah, but I can. Yeah, I can be sometimes so relaxed. I remember somebody saying to me once, "Goes, God, you've changed." Because I think I used to be like that about everything, and then now I'm just not. Hello. Hi. So today is a very different show. Hi. Oh goodness, we're getting likes already. Thank you so much. Comment, say hello. Let us know that you're here. I always think where are the comments, and I can't see I never look for the comments, so I look for the comments somewhere else. So please comment and say hello if you're watching us. You've got Rochelle and Victoria today. So Liz is so busy, is what I'm going to say, is that she's actually hosting something else right now. Which is hilarious, with her community. So if you haven't seen Liz for a while, don't worry, she hasn't left us. She'll be joining us when she can. And EJ is having some procedure. She sent us a photograph that I need her to explain what on earth is going on with that. However, as always, we are so committed to being here and sharing everything for women by women, that we thought today would be a really good opportunity for us to get to know each other, and for you to get to know us as well, and to ask those questions, because apart from being business women, we are also human beings, and we have personal lives, and we have loves and hates and icks. That's the new phrase. That's the new word now, isn't it? Ick. It's an ick. Yeah, we've got an ick. So we're gonna kind of interview each other. So if there's anything you want to know about me or Rochelle, or comments that you want to make about us, please do not be shy. We're here. We're here for the duration. So Rochelle, so can I just say, so Rochelle, so there's a few things that have happened today actually, but one of the things I will say is that Rochelle speaks less than I do, which means she has the opportunity to think more. And I know she comes up with some great questions. Like, she'll always ask me questions that make me think, that's an interesting one. So she's going to ask me questions first. But if you've got any questions that you want to ask, then just type in. If you want to share this with anybody, if you think this is going to be great, then please, by all means and stuff, do that. What else do I want to say? Before I came on, so Rochelle called me She does call me, but today was quite interesting. She called me, and I was like, right, we need to look presentable. And I went.
Sorry, this is the best I could do, guys.
But you look amazing. I love. What did you say you've just had done, or what?
Microneedling. So yesterday I looked like I'd either been for a run or or I was sunburned. And one of the mums on the school run, when she was like, "Oh, you look flushed. Are you in a rush?" And I didn't really know. I was like, "What do you mean?" Because I was in a rush. I'm always in a rush. And I realised afterwards I was just like bright red.
Well, do you know what's so funny? So Rochelle was telling me this today, and last night or early hours of this morning, I was having a conversation with myself, and I was like, do you know what? My face is the equivalent of a size 10 woman who goes, I don't need to do anything to get to size 10. I can eat whatever I want, because I actually don't put anything on my face other than water, soap, and everything else, which is hilarious. So you're talking about, but I went to put makeup on, and I've ended up dropping that in the sink and then putting it onto my powder, and now my powder's wet.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah, that's the start of my day. But anyway, I'll grab
And
my
I don't
water.
normally do anything to my face, but I feel like now I'm 36, I'm going to be 37, 40 is getting closer and closer. Like lots of people that I know are having Botox and stuff, and I've always looked like fairly young. Well, I always look really old for my age, and then when I got to 18, I started getting ID'd, and I've not changed much in how I look. I don't think since I were 18. But I said to you earlier, didn't I? My face is lucky if it sees like a splash of water. No soap is going near my eyes.
That got me cracking up.
Although, again, my friends have been, they're like, you need to use this. I've got like all this Temple Spa stuff now, and occasionally I'll do like a five-step face wash, and I'll not do it again for like a month. So it lasts.
I can't think of anything worse. Don't let the dresses fool you. I am such a tomboy at heart. But the other day, my mom actually said to me, she goes, remember, you're a woman. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what have I not done and stuff? And it was down to just like not wearing earrings. I used to wear earrings all the time. And now I have to remind myself to wear earrings. I'm like, oh my God. But anyway, it's a whole thing. It's
Your
a whole
mom's
thing.
hilarious.
Yeah, she is. But she's a typical African woman, right? So EJ's not here to remind us about Africa. I can remind you about Africa. My mom's a typical African woman, which is men are meant to do certain things, women are meant to do certain things. Like there's no way you're going to change. She's almost 80. So there's no way you're going to change your opinion about it and stuff. And it's like, like if she saw me now, she'd be like, your hair's not right, you need to move it this way. Like, oh, there's always a comment and stuff, or the dress, or it's either she's admiring the dress or the dress needs to be fixed or something and stuff. But I'm such a tomboy, I don't have time to do a 5-step routine. So I'm very blessed that I have the skin that I have. There's no secret to it, which makes you then realize that when sometimes you're just trying to attain something, whilst I think yes, of course, if you exercise, then you'll get fit and everything else, but not everybody who exercises gets slim, and sometimes we just need to
It's genetics, isn't it?
Yeah, we just need to. Yeah, my mom's got amazing skin, and I know I get it from her. And we were talking about this earlier on, that is good skin a black thing and stuff like, and I'm like, no, because I've seen black people who have gone damn, so it's like it's not it's not, it's just I think it's a generalization, but sometimes we just have to be happy with what we've got, I think. Anyway, I can see you guys post questions in whatever forum you're on. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube. And if you've not subscribed to our channel, it's actually based on my channel, and the girls then will share it on theirs. But if just go to YouTube Victoria Dio and subscribe so you don't miss any of those, because we go live every Wednesday, even if it's just the two of us. And I promise you, even if there's a day where it's just one of us, we will. And if you would like to be asked to be a panelist at some point, then let us know, because we sometimes bring people on. So you've seen Regina come in sometimes, and we've had Shelley Shulman come in, and we've had
Elizabeth
come in and stuff. So we sometimes ask people to join us. So if you know that this is something that you'd like to be part of, and there's a topic that you'd like to talk about, come on. We love to have you. We've been doing so well, and our figures on YouTube are growing, which we're really happy about. We're getting a lot of interaction. Right, over to you. I'll shut up.
Yes, thank you. So you mentioned that I'm a bit quiet sometimes, but my mind is never quiet. It's always buzzing. It's always always thinking, always listening. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is, like, obviously you've got this business where you help people to fall back in love with their lives and discover their purpose. And I think sometimes for people who are maybe more, how would I describe it? Maybe they're not yet spiritual. They might not yet believe in like energy, and I think I've always had that belief in energy and spirituality. I think I've always been quite in touch with it, but I feel like I'm more in touch with it than ever. But it can be quite scary for people. So how would you explain to someone who is brand new and maybe skeptical about spirituality and energy work? What would you say to them?
That's an interesting question. Do you know what? As soon as you started asking the question, straight away I go, I know my title is African Oracle, which means an intuit and a seer, so it is spiritual. But half the time, I don't think it has anything to do with spirituality, and it's very simple. You're born, you are given your breath, so you start breathing as soon as you're born, but you get given two other things. You get given your intuition, so that knowing, and you get given why you're here. And it just is. It just is. It's like, you know, that weird photograph behind you, it was designed to hang onto a wall. You know what I mean? That badger, it was designed to be painted. So it was created, that painting was created so that somebody could hang it up in their wall, on their wall. It wasn't meant to be a car. It wasn't meant to be a table or a chopping board. It doesn't mean that it's impossible to be a chopping board, for example. But if it was made into a chopping board, then the food would destroy the material. So it's not designed for that. And that's what we do in life. In life, we're born. We're seduced by society to drop our intuition, because society know that if we used our intuition the way we're meant to do, we would be so powerful that we would be unbearable for society. So society needs to have to control us in a way. So what do? They give us movies to watch that make us scared. They create news that makes us scared. Like, everything is very fear mongering. I'm not saying that things aren't happening in the world, but we're designed to be fear mongered, and we're designed to react in that way. Now, you can't be using your intuition and be scared at the same time. So you drop that intuition. And when the only time we use our intuition properly is when we want to protect ourselves or those that we love. So, for example, if somebody said to you, how are your children, or I don't know where your children are, you will tap into your intuition to know that they're okay or not. And the same as taking the child to the doctors and saying, my child's not well, and the doctor going, oh no, they'll be fine. And you go, I'm the mum, I know if my child is ill or not. That's your intuition. Also, and it happens a lot in relationships, when people want to know if they're being cheated on or not, you tap into your intuition and you go, I know something's not right. I can't put my finger on it, but I know things aren't the way they used to be. That's our intuition. Anything else, we let it go. So my whole premise is, when we get seduced to lose our intuition, and we get seduced to go the normal path, which is get a job and everything else. And I'm not saying people shouldn't get a job, but we get a job based on either what's going to pay us the money, what we're going to enjoy. And there's nothing wrong with any of those. But what tends to happen is, the more successful we become, the more we delve deeper into the logical field of fear and stress and worry. And then we start to sacrifice our personal fulfillment. That personal fulfillment is actually what's meant to nurture you and give you the life that you love. at the expense of that, that's where we get people who are burnt out, people who are stressed and feel deprived, and their relationships suffer and everything else. So my job is to first and foremost make sure that you know your divine purpose. So it's nothing about oh well, what are you most passionate about and what do you love and everything else. I promise you, if it was based on that, I would not be doing the job that I'm doing now. But it's based on your divine purpose. Once you know why you're here, you have more of a GPS in life that you can follow. And it also allows you to have those boundaries so that when somebody says to you, oh, by the way, I'd love to offer you this, you can, with discernment, go, that's amazing. But actually, when I look at my GPS, that's not part of it. I'm focused. I want to go and get what I need. When you're that focused and also that aligned, then it's easier to create a life where you're serving the people you're meant to serve on this earth, because everybody's here to serve. You earn money in the way you're meant to earn money, and that could be within your job or not. But most importantly, you're genuinely fulfilled. Like, you can literally look at life no matter what season you're in. And that's the other thing as well. People always think that, oh well, when you find your purpose, then I shouldn't struggle anymore. Far from it. It means that you're resilient no matter what season you're in. So I know people who fall apart in the winter season of their lives. And winter season is when you're not making the money, when you don't know what you're meant to be doing. Maybe life just isn't making sense. And the summer side of life is where everything's flowing. But the only people who have a stagnant life are the people that have died. And that's where the line on the heart monitor goes and stuff. It's like beep. It's like, yep, we're done. Your time's now left to leave the world. Otherwise, you are meant to live and go through the highs and the lows of life. But if you don't know what your purpose is, the likelihood is that you'll keep on falling off and experiencing stress and overwhelm and anxiety and other emotional and physical ailments, because your body knows that this vehicle isn't doing what it's meant to be doing here. That's a very long response, but am I making sense?
Yeah. No, that was really good. A few thoughts triggered in my mind. Like, I've always had this belief in that, like, I don't feel like any of us are here by accident. Like, for two people to be in the exact same place at the exact same time, and to fall in love, or to have a baby together, and for you to be born, and for you to survive that pregnancy and everything, and for you to grow into an adult, there's no accident in that, is there? Even in me and you meeting, that's not an accident. Everything happens for a reason. And obviously, I lost my husband in 2018, and even that, I'm like, it's difficult to say when you go through such a traumatic event, but I can 100% tell you I would not be where I am now if that trauma had not happened to me, and I wouldn't be able to go on and fulfill with, like, whatever my purpose is, if that hadn't have happened. And I believe that, like, my children, they were meant to be born. There's a reason that they are here and they're on that earth, and obviously it's finding out what is that reason. So my next question is, like, how do you know when you're ready for your purpose? Like, is there a certain time? Are you ready from the moment you're born, or do you need to work up to being ready for it?
So yes, there is a time. And whilst when I talk about when you're born, you get given your purpose, very few people tap into that straight away. I believe that when you start asking yourself the question, is this it? I know I'm meant for more. What's next? When you start asking those questions, where you start looking around your life and thinking there needs to be more to life, and you just don't know the answer, that's when you're ready to tap into your purpose, because that's like your alarm clock, right? That's your intuitive alarm clock going, we've messed around, we've had fun, it's been great, but right now we know we're here to do something bigger than this. And sometimes it can be scary, because you're like, oh my God. I remember the first time I had that feeling. I can actually tell you where I was at the time. And and I think at the time I used to smoke years ago. Yes, see, I didn't always used to be this angel. I used to smoke, and I was outside. This was 2007 to be exact. I was outside having a fag and all that and chilling. And I just remember this thought went by, and I couldn't even tell you what the thought was. But then the next response was, "Oh, so what are you going to do? Because this is all you know how to do. All you know is to manage big projects and everything else. So if you're not meant to do that, then what is it?" And I remember thinking, oh my God, the thought of training or retraining to be something else was just out of this world. And I remember just ignoring that thought. And it wasn't long after when I was walking down the road, still in the same company that I was contracting for. And I was going to meet some friends, and it was a beautiful sunny day. And I remember just thinking, God, I feel like I'm just existing. And there was nothing wrong with my life logically. There was money in the bank, and I could travel to wherever I wanted to. And yet I was like, something's missing. Something deep down is missing. And that spiraled my whole journey. So some people will say, well, I don't need it. And guess what? My job isn't to convince people that they need to align and to love their life. When they're ready, they know, and that's where the demonstration. I posted a post yesterday about that's where they start demonstrating lack of integrity, because when you're not in alignment, this vehicle, your body, starts to behave in a way that even you may not recognize. So you start to become less authentic, whether it's cheating, lying, bullying, whatever that looks like, it will start to manifest in your life. And that's when people go, oh my God, they've changed, and it's because they don't know what else to do. So they start to demonstrate behaviors. And that's why I said in my post, I posted on Facebook, I said, it's not your fault if this is what you demonstrate, but it is your responsibility to understand why you're demonstrating those behaviors. Because once you realize what the misalignment is, I can connect you straight away. And then that no longer becomes a thing. But until then, there is a disconnection. I was watching TikTok, I think it was this morning, and there's this guy who'd been in prison, and he'd been in twice, and on the second time of coming out, he actually said the second time of coming out of prison, and the reason why he knows he's not going to go back is because he'd found his sense of purpose. Like now he knew why he was here and what he needed to do. And before, he was literally in the manipulation site and everything else. So it goes back to me saying, first and foremost, it doesn't have to be spiritual. It just is. It just so happens that I have the divine gift to be able to read into people's lives and pull out that information quicker than a logical person would. So I don't ask questions. I just go in, pull it out, and give it to you, which is why I guarantee that you get your purpose. It's not because it's not because it's necessarily a spiritual thing. It's a divine gift that I've been given. It's why I'm here. And the same reason why, if your gift, for example, was to make beautiful furniture, you'd be able to make a chair overnight, and I could be there all year and still never get that chair made. So it just is. And that's the great thing about purpose. It's the reason why sometimes we will see a child prodigy at the age of 2 play a piano and go, wow. It's like that's their purpose. That's why they're here. And in most cases, you don't need to learn your purpose. You can enhance your purpose, but your purpose has already been given to you. And it's the thing that you do effortlessly, but then you need to understand how you need to bring that into the world and serve people, because knowing your purpose, performing your purpose, and serving the world are 3 different things.
Yeah, I think it can feel quite scary and maybe like a lot of pressure to think, oh, I've got this purpose. There's a reason that I'm on this earth and that I could fulfill that purpose. And what happens if I don't fulfill that purpose and going like down that spiral? And I suppose a lot of people, when they are fighting, like I know people who like they'll apply for job after job after job, and they keep getting knocked back and then and it's because they're not meant to follow that path. There's something else actually that they want to be doing. So it can feel like you're going through them really difficult times, and actually maybe you're just not looking in the right direction. You're not opening your eyes and seeing what you should be seeing. But then also I got the thought for me of you coming along and going and finding my purpose for me. That scares me. That makes me think, like, feel like, how would I describe it? I think it gives me some sort of anxiety of like, what are you going to say? What if I think I'm on this right path now? What if I'm not on the right path and you're going to tell me something completely different? And what's your experience around that when you tell people the purpose? Does it fill them with fear, or does the penny drop and all of a sudden they feel better?
Do you know what's so cool? And I'm glad you're asking me these questions, because I know people till today, and I've known for a long time, and they keep dancing around me and going, I want to work with you, but I'm scared. I want to work with you, but I'm scared. The truth of the matter is, I will never give you a purpose that requires you to start all over again. And that's part of my tagline. You don't need to start all over again, because your purpose will meet you before you meet your purpose. If you put it this way, I was coaching people at the age of 13. I didn't even know what coaching was, but I was helping people. I was resolving a lot of conflict. I got brought in to deal with a really highly sensitive issue at the age of 13. It was actually, the person was actually performing an illegal act and stuff, and I got brought in at the age of 13 to deal with that. It's taken me till now to remember those stories and go, oh my goodness, I've literally been helping people and detangling their lives since I was 13 years old. I'll be 52 in a month's time, and that's 40 years of experience. You know, at 15, I was in charge of a school body. Like, people wouldn't make decisions without coming and speaking to me, and I would give them intuitive guidance. I didn't know it was intuitive guidance, but I was giving them intuitive guidance. There's still a running joke with me and my schoolmates that where they say certain girls wouldn't go out with them until they'd spoken to Victoria. And then Victoria was like, no, don't date that boy. She didn't. And actually, I still have school friends who still say to me, you made this girl not go out with me. And I was like, I was just giving advice, like, you know, but I didn't know I was doing what I'm going to do now. And now I get phone messages. Like, I have clients on retainer who call me and tell me what's going on in their life and asking me for guidance and everything else. So first and foremost, I get that it can be scary, but here's the thing. What if I guarantee you that you go from the space of uncertainty to a place of pure clarity and joy and excitement? And the reason why I say that is every single person I've told their purpose, and I've actually been told I can use their videos, I just haven't put the videos together yet. Every time they come on for their session and I tell them their purpose, their face changes. In some cases, they lose weight there and then. It's phenomenal to see. And you just get people just go, oh my God. It's almost that relief of connection, like, that's it. That's it. And that's why people will use phrases like, you've just hit the nail on the heart, you know, like you've got it. Or they'll say, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Or you'll get someone say, that's been life affirming, because it is like no experience you can possibly imagine.
Yeah. So when I think about what I'm doing now and the things that I'm loving doing, like the speaking on stage and the delivering training and writing, like, these are all things that when I look back to my childhood, I always loved. And I've said to you before, like now at the moment I'm working on building a community, and actually like at school I was always the person every single year I had a birthday party, and my party was like the go-to event of the year. Like even now, if you meet any of my friends who I went to secondary school with, they'd be like, oh my god, I used to love your parties. I used to go around inviting everyone. I'd met them once at badminton lessons or something at lunchtime, and I'd be like, do you want to come to my party? And they'd be like, yeah, can I bring my friend? No problem. And there'd be like 200 people in the room at my parties, and I just absolutely loved it. And I loved going around and like talking to everyone and making sure everyone was having a good time. And so like I can see lots of patterns in my life where I go, actually I've always loved these things that I love now. And for quite a long time in between sort of like, I suppose, leaving school and getting to the point where I was starting my business, even like into my property business, probably up until the last couple of years, I'd forgotten that those things were my passion and that those were things that I loved. So I think if my purpose is something along those lines, that would make complete sense.
Yeah. You've been given your purpose, haven't you? You just keep forgetting to go in and have a look.
Do I?
Yeah, you're giving your purpose. But do you know what? So listen, again, some people think they need it, some people don't. Some people would rather go the long way. Some people want it fast. A lot of my ideal clients are very time poor, so they're very much about, I ain't got time to waste, I just want it now. And that's why they come to me, because they know that they're guaranteed that they will get their purpose. So it's the one thing I do guarantee, like you will find your purpose. We go into a 90-minute session and I give you your purpose. It's non-negotiable that you come out with it. And like you said, your purpose is dotted around, but the most important thing is knowing how to take that purpose now and align it to your life. So like I say, it's very easy to get distracted by shiny objects and go, oh my God, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I get distracted quite a lot. So when I remember myself, my purpose, I am very easily inclined to say thank you, but no thank you, because I know why I'm here and I know what I need to focus on. And whilst everything might look very appealing, I don't need those things, because guess what? I believe that I've got so much already within me that I'm working on, that anything else is just a distraction. And I can't afford to distract away from my purpose and stuff. It's like this. And when I say that, I say there's people to work with, there's people to help, there's people to meet, those connections and stuff. And I don't sacrifice them for anything. And I've had to be really, really strict with myself, and it's not been easy to do, but it is a huge responsibility. It is a hot responsibility when you know why you're here. But even just in your job, right? In your job, in your business, it is a huge responsibility. Like you help people connect to LinkedIn. You also help people make money from their properties and stuff. That's a huge responsibility. And whether you see it as a purpose or not, people rely on you. People rely on you so that they can make more money in their business. People rely on you so that they can get more opportunities on LinkedIn. People do rely on you. And it's the same as any job or purpose. You decide whether you're going to show up or not, right? And here's the thing, once you stop showing up, whether it's within your purpose or within your job or within your business, either people stop losing trust, in you, and we're both building communities at the moment. So people either stop losing trust in you, or you stop losing trust in yourself. And we're the one person who knows the truth about us. We know how reliable we are to ourselves. You know what I mean? It's like whether we're consistent or whether we're integral to whether we do what we say we're going to do. We know. So it has a knock-on effect either way.
Yeah, I did a couple of posts this morning about starting before you're ready, and it was inspired by I've been listening to Myron Golden, our favorite guy, in a listening to some of his YouTube videos in the morning, and he was talking about that starting before you're ready, and he was talking about how, I can't remember the exact, it was something like he decided he wanted to create a CD. And from the moment he decided, it took him 14 days to get 8 people to write songs for this CD, to get into the recording studio and record it, and to get it up for sale. And it's like that quick action. He didn't know how to create a CD. He just asked the right people the right questions and got to that point. And I think that's something that I could resonate with, because that's what I've always done. I started my LinkedIn training before I felt like I was ready for it. I started my property business before I felt I was ready for it. Started posting on LinkedIn before I'd established myself, and before I'd even done any property, I started talking about property on there. And I think it's if you know what your purpose, even if you don't know what your purpose is, you've got to start taking those actions before you know what it is. So it's just like I know that I'm destined to like speak on big stages. So even though I've only been speaking in front of like 40 or so people at the moment, I'm moving towards those bigger stages, and one day you will see me standing in front of thousands and thousands of people speaking, because that's what I know I want to be doing. But
2,500.
Yeah, I've not officially announced that properly, but we keep like going. Yeah, so I will be at some point next year speaking in front of 2,500 people, which is, it's scary, but it's so exciting. But if I'd have not started speaking in front of 10, 20, 30 people, what's interesting actually, on one of the roundtables that I was at Expert Empires, so me and you have been at a couple together, haven't we? So I was with, it was what's his name? I've forgotten his name. It's
Myron Golden.
So, and I said to him, I want to get my message out to more people. I want to inspire more people. Like, what advice have you got for me? And he said that I need to just, and it was similar advice to that. When I think about it, the starting first, I'll get used to speaking in front of people, like 20 people, and then I'll start getting crowds of 30 and 40, and it just grows and grows and grows, like quite organically. And it's grabbing those opportunities where you can. And another video that I watched this morning by Myron, it was 3 years ago. So I watched one that was like a couple of weeks ago, and then watched one that was 3 years ago, and it was still good, but like the transformation in that 3 years of where he's come from to where he is now, from just practicing like actually doing it, rather than going, oh, I'm just going to practice on my own, like not being in front of anyone, but actually getting out there and doing it, and getting used to not being perfect, and getting used to stumbling over your words, but then working on it and building it and getting better and better, and allowing people to see that progress and support you through it.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So there's so much in there. So I'm gonna turn this round to yourself. There's so much that you've put in there that I want to unpack. So how we met. So we actually met at Expert Empires on a round table that you had paid to be on. And I just walked up to Dennis Duffel Thomas. I just walked up to Dennis Duffel Thomas, who I had never heard of. Well, I think I'd heard of, but I didn't know what she did. And she was so good. I just walked up to her. Whilst everybody else wanted a photograph, I just walked up and went, what needs to happen to get me on that round table? And she was like, oh, you could be my guest. And she let everybody know. And that's where I met you and Chris, like for the very first time.
And we were meant to meet.
We were meant to meet. And I remember as soon as I walked in, I was like, I need to get to know her. And then we were both part of a sales mastermind. And then I got a call from the mastermind asking me if I would buddy up with you. And I said yes. And I said, right, we'll call her. And I went, no, I'll call her. And I took your number and I messaged you. And that's how we started buddying up. But also it's interesting because I love Myron. Like, I met Myron in 2018, and I remember telling you about him, and you're like, who? I was like, you need to, like, anybody. I'll tell anybody. I'm like, you need to watch Myron Golden. He's amazing, and he's been such a great teacher of mine and stuff. And he comes from a space, and it's so cool because I talk about. Well, I've not started talking about it, but I've been having conversations where, you know, sort of like the different levels of value, and how, you know, it goes all the way from implementation to ideation, and how, you know, communication and ideation are so important. And it's one of the reasons why I've been moving a lot of my content more to around videos than not, because I really want to be in that space where, I mean, I know I'm a good speaker, but I want to even get better. And you're right when you say, when you look at Myron's videos from when he first started, like when he first started, it was in this dingy room with this dingy board and stuff. And then now he's like, you can tell he's got a whole team of people and everything else and doing his thing. That he is, I would say, probably the best speaker in the world right now and stuff. And anybody just wants to have him on his stage. So my question to you, because you've asked me all these questions and it was meant to be half and half. But my question to you is, you're always talking about what you want to share, and you want to share your message. What is your message?
What is my message? So what I love to do is inspire people and motivate them to be the best version of themselves. Like, I always see so much potential in people, and often they can't see that potential in themselves. And I love finding that and like pulling it out of them and getting them excited and showing them like what's possible. So whenever I do like one-to-one calls and things, people always leave feeling like super excited for what's ahead. And I think what I like to show people is like how far I've come in, like after losing my husband and finding that path and getting visible and building businesses and showing people that it's possible for them too. And I think the other thing is that obviously my husband died, and it made me realize that life's too short. Like, we're not here to mess about. We only get one chance, one opportunity. And I see so many people just wasting the life. And often I can be guilty of like not doing enough, or not doing the things that I know I should be doing. And we all have those kind of days, but at the same time, I know where I'm heading, I know where I'm going. I can feel it. I can feel that passion, and I want other people to. And I suppose it's similar to you. It's like I want them to grab hold of that purpose and run with it, and not be scared, not be fearful. So I'm always like the one in the family that people will come to for advice, and I like help. And even like when we're on our calls, I'm like, I listen to you, and then I feel like the penny just drops in my mind, and I'll say something back to you, and then a penny will drop in your mind. And I love that. I'm full of so many ideas. Like my brain is just always ticking. So, and not like, I'm one of those people that I'll come up with like 5 ideas and 4 might be like not viable, but 1 makes you go, yeah, that's the one. I don't know if that answers your question, but I said a lot.
No, it does. So, so your message then, because you've got multi businesses, you've got LinkedIn, you help people, you're very good at LinkedIn, but you're also very good at sourcing property for people. So when you're going to be talking, is your talking going to be like your third business? Or are you going to be blending in what you do in both your businesses? Which direction do you think you're going to go?
So one of the things I realized when you were talking is that in both my businesses, what I do is I help people to make more money. So in property, I'm helping them to make more money through property. With the LinkedIn training, I'm helping them to make more money in the business. So I'm going, actually, these businesses are more related than what a lot of people think. LinkedIn and property are both vehicles, I feel, rather than like I love using LinkedIn for my business, but is LinkedIn my absolute passion and the thing that like I'm meant to talk about for the next 40 years? Absolutely not. There's much more to it, and I feel like I'm on a journey, and it's that self-discovery, realizing what I am good at, and then helping other people with those things. So while I've been building the LinkedIn business, I've got really good at using Facebook. So I've got a great a great community on Facebook where I teach them how to use LinkedIn. I'm using my Facebook profile really well. I'm getting lots of engagement, reaching lots of people, and actually I'm probably reaching a similar amount on Facebook now as what I reach on LinkedIn. So it's
sorry.
Yeah, I thought you were going to ask me a question, so I stopped.
I wasn't going to ask you a question. I was going to say, so I remember when we started working together, and I think we've shared this story before, but you and I hit a really rough patch at the same time. It's actually comedic to now, because I don't know how we got through that. Like, literally, we held each other up and we were just like, it. I'll just never forget the day I called and you couldn't even speak. Like, it was literally, you couldn't even put words, you know, create the words to talk about what you're going through. And we talk a lot about business, you know, and the more we've got to know each other, I remember just saying to you, there's a formula, that we were missing and stuff. And initially I was saying to you, I said, oh, you know, maybe you just need to do the one thing, because at one point you were like, I'm not sure if it's the property or the LinkedIn. And then something just hit, and I call it the formula, and you just laugh at me whenever I say the formula, because you're like, what formula? I'm like, nobody else is doing this. Like, nobody else is literally talking about a tool or a skill, and then using that skill to actually make money and being able to report that money as a success of using that skill. I find it fascinating. I do. I find it absolutely fascinating. I mean,
it is a full loop.
Circle.
Yes. Yeah, so, for example, for people listening, I will, for my property business, I help people I find properties for them, we renovate them, we rent them out. So I'll use, say we complete on a property this Friday, I will then post that in property groups, say, like, showing people how I've got this property, showing people that I've found these investors through LinkedIn. People then come from them property groups onto my Facebook profile, see that not only am I doing property, but I'm also teaching people how to find clients and investors through LinkedIn. So then they'll come and do my LinkedIn training. And like, some people have said, oh, why are you showing people how to do what you're doing? Are you not worried that they're going to take your investors? But I've got a abundance mindset for a start. So I'm like, I'm not worried about that. I've been doing it a long time. And no matter how much I teach you, you're not going to become me. So there's always going to be a difference. There's always going to be some people that are drawn towards me and some people that are drawn towards other people. And that's one of the things I teach, like sharing who you are, sharing your values, why you're doing what you're doing, so that you attract the people who like you and you repel the people that don't.
I like, so me talking about you helping people make money, that has always, I've always been aware of that. And I felt it was really important to mention it, because even in the work that I do, people always look at the soft side. They look at the soft side of feeling great and connecting to your purpose and loving your life. And last year, especially, I was really challenged to look at my work from a tangible perspective. And I went back and asked my clients how much they'd made as a result of us working together. And you know this, but my most successful client signed a £2.5 million contract. And actually it's more than that, but for NDA purposes, we can't really talk about it. And even I would not even least successful, but I think the most minimum we've got is £1,000 a month extra into their pocket. So the work that we're doing it has a knock-on effect. Like, when you say you're inspiring people, and money isn't the end result, but when you are inspiring people and they feel good about themselves and they're aligned with their life, then guess what? You have no other option but to create that prosperity. And we've experienced it ourselves when we've not been in that space of prosperity and gone through the journey to be able to help you, either with your skills or whether it's with your alignment, to be able to get the best out of life and to give you the opportunities as well. Because that's what, for sure, is the more aligned you are, or the more you're doing what you love, you're going to create more opportunities and speak to more people and get onto the stages and be asked to get onto the stages. You know, it's like that. There's no feeling like being asked to speak at an event.
Yeah.
You know, there's no feeling being asked to speak. There's no feeling like being offered money to speak. It's the whole thing. And you think to yourself, I mean, I remember when I think my first speaking event was maybe not. Maybe it wasn't my first speaking event, but I remember speaking in Cameroon. And it was probably to about 30 people. And it was a career based talk where it was people who were struggling to find work.
Mm.
And one of the ladies, actually, I need to get in touch with her, but one of the ladies is now a full blown international project manager as a result of that program. Yeah. So inspiration is really key. So let me ask you, it's like you've gone through a lot, and you navigate parenthood as well. I have no idea how you do that. Like literally, like I just yeah, that's a whole different conversation. I don't know how you handle that. But how are you then that person for everyone? Because you're a girlfriend, a partner, more than anything else, not just a girlfriend, but you're a partner, you're a mum, you're a daughter, you hire family to work for you. You've got groups, communities.
You make him tired.
I'm tired just thinking about it. But also you've got two children who, whether you like it or not, have lost a dad. And Chris is amazing with them. Like, you wouldn't know unless you told people, right? And stuff. It's like even their curly hair, sort of like, the synchronicity is unbelievable. But how do you navigate all of that and still stay kind of sane?
So I think one of the things that I've always been really good at is doing the things that absolutely need doing, the things that are going to move the task forward. So I'm like, I don't like lots of fluff. Like if you ask me to write about something, I'm going to write it in a paragraph. I don't want to write an essay about it. I don't want to, and that's worked really well for like my LinkedIn posts and things like that. It's like getting to the point quickly. Even like I think you'll see like maybe the difference between me and you. When you answer a question, you talk a lot. Whereas when I answer a question, I'm like, I get bored of the sound of my own voice. I'm like, I'm to the point.
Are you saying I'm boring?
No, I'm not saying you're boring. I'm saying I get bored of the sound. I think I worry that I'm boring people, and I want to say something in quite a specific and to the point way, so that and then move on. And that can be like everything. It can be my biggest strength, but it can be my biggest weakness too. Like so, when it comes to planning things out and being like adding meat to the bones, like I'm not very good at that. I'm good at the sort of
surface level.
Yeah, I'm good at the structure. I'm not good at adding lots of extra things. And I say that I'm good at doing that, helping other people with that or coming up with the ideas, but I'm not a details person. In fact, I was on some training with Danny Wallace the other day, and she was talking about that, the different types of people that you've got, like the ideas people and the details people. So when details people come to me and they start asking, so what are you going to cover and what's this and what's that? And I'm like, but it's just going to be good, I promise. Well, because I'm an ideas person. I'm not a details person. I can't remember what your question is now. So this is why I probably don't talk for that long, because I get distracted and go off on a tangent.
But you see, I think you do talk a lot. I do think that there is detail, but I do believe though, and this is a question I wanted to ask, is if you think because you were told once that your voice was annoying, whether that still holds when you speak to keep it nippy, not in what you do, because I think I love how you work. Like when you work, you do, and you've taught me that you just do what needs doing, and I dance around the houses and overthink it and everything else. And it's not because I'm a detailed person, it's because I get confused very easily. I like it's scary. So do you think it's because of that you don't speak, you still don't speak?
Definitely, like even then when you said that, there was a couple of other times as well that pop into my mind where like maybe I've been told I can't sing, or I've been told that I'm boring. And like it'll just be like my friends when I was a teenager, oh, you're so boring. So when I was a teenager, I went to karate and taekwondo 5 nights a week, and I did competitions on Sundays. So when it were other people's parties, I like, sorry, I can't go, I've got karate. Like so often. And like lots of my friends are like all jokey and funny, and how like, and I was maybe a little bit, a little bit more serious at times, and people would say, "Oh, you're boring," and like that does stick to you. So I think lots of things start to layer up, don't they? And as an adult, it's like breaking those things down and going, actually, no, I know that I know what I'm talking about. I know I'm not boring. My voice is what my voice is. So you either like it or you don't like it. I think I've always had that feeling like I want everyone to like me. Like the thought of people not liking me just makes me really upset. I'm like, what have I done?
You're okay. You're okay.
I'm
You're
like,
okay.
I feel the tears building up in my eyes. Like, I want you all to like me. And that, again, it's like with everything that can, like, I am a people pleaser, and that can be really good. That means a lot of people do like me. But that's also a big weakness, because it means that like, even when I don't like people, I still want them to like me. So yeah, I think that does hold. I think everything that you've heard from being little, like those seeds that are planted in your mind. So I'm always like, I'm always telling my children like how proud I am of them and how amazing they are. Amazing. I'll say to Maisie, I'm so proud of you, and she'll go, why? Like literally every night.
She's such a sweetheart.
And then I have to tell her why. I'm like, because you're just amazing. You're so you're so clever. You're beautiful. You're such a kind person. You're so creative. Like, I'm always telling her these things because I know that when she's an adult, and even now, she's going to have these voices in her head, and especially like she starts secondary school in September, and those voices are going to be like mean kids, or sometimes even your friends, like people who are not meaning to say anything mean. Those voices start to come into your head. So if I can like build up her self-esteem so that she knows that she's beautiful, and she knows that she's clever, and she knows that she's kind, like it's that sense of like, I want my children to have that sense of knowing who they are. And I've always told them like they should love themselves first, like they're the most important person. Like it's very difficult to give love from a place when you hate yourself. Right. So like I feel like there's not loads of things that I do purposely as a mom, but they are some things that like I want them to believe in themselves, definitely. And again, I've forgotten what your question was, so that's my answer.
That shows you the state of our relationship. I talk, she doesn't listen, and I guess that's probably the reason why we're friends. Well, I can say this for sure, as though it's like everything that you say and everything that you do is beautiful. I just love it. I love it. And you know, the one thing I will say is that I love the lack of ego. And listen, we all have ego, but there is a way that you do it that is, it's just a flow. It's not forced, and people just come to you, and it's just so beautiful to watch.
What's interesting is if you ask like one of my sisters, especially my littlest one, she's always saying how big-headed I am. So again, she's only 12, so I'm trying to educate her, but she sees me as being big-headed because I do love myself, and I like what I see in the mirror, and I believe in what I do, and I don't think that's a bad thing. And I think that's something that we need to teach our children, that it is okay to love yourself and be happy with the way you look, especially in a world where everybody's getting plastic surgery and everyone's getting Botox and the lips are getting bigger and bigger and they're feeling like they need to look this certain way. Like we need to show them that actually, no, you're beautiful just as you are. Like you don't need all these things.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I remembered you were asking me about how I juggle it all, and then I went off on this.
I give up with you. I give up with you. I think what it boils down to is not looking for external validation, and realizing. Tony Robbins says this. He goes, everything that you need is within you right now, and I've heard it so many times, but it only started sinking in when I started looking for that thing. And it's like, you've already got it. You've got who you are. You've got your intuition. You've got your purpose. But you do need to love yourself. You know, it's one of the reasons why I have the HEAL method. You know, the L stands for love. It's like for you to be able to fall in love with your life, you need to be able to love you and love others. But you can't love others if you don't love yourself. Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why I have softened a lot around relationships where I get frustrated sometimes because I think, oh, maybe I'm not getting this from this relationship. And it's actually, well, if they don't love themselves, how can they love you? You know what I mean? And so it's like, it has to be, there needs to be some sort of reciprocity, that word, that one. But yeah, I mean, so as we round up, because oh my god, it's already 1 o'clock. So as we round up, give us 3 words as to why people need to be looking into LinkedIn right now.
3 words. I don't know if I can do it in 3 words.
You said you don't talk much. I want you to do 3
I can give you 3 points.
Lord Jesus, go on then.
So 1 is about like stop it, I feel like you're laughing at me.
I am laughing at you.
I know you are. So I've just been delivering a training this morning with Ryan Pinnock's mastermind, and this was one of the things we were looking at on there, like a lady who was working in a specific area. Like LinkedIn is such a good place to connect with. Oh, look, my mum's saying that I lied. I never shut up.
Thanks, Mom.
Bad mum.
See, now it's all coming out.
So anyway, before she distracted me, I was saying like LinkedIn's such a good place to connect with people based on their location, the job title, the industry that they work on. You can't do that on any other platforms. So I'd say that is my absolute favorite thing about LinkedIn. Second is that everyone's there to do business. It's like a networking event, whereas Facebook and Instagram are much more like places where you go to relax. You're not necessarily there in a buying mindset. And third one is, I think it's quite simple. And my mom, you're laughing at my mom saying she's not sure where I get it from. It's because she never shuts up either. She even talks to herself.
Right.
The third one is like so with Instagram and Facebook, it's like you've got to create content often, and TikTok, you're creating reels, and it can be quite time consuming. And because I am to the point and I want to do things as easy and simply as possible, like LinkedIn, it's a bit of text and an image and it's gone. And for me, because writing is my one of my passions and one of my strengths, I find writing much easier than having to set aside time to record videos and create reels.
I'm the video one.
Yeah, that's it. So it's leaning into it. What is your strength and leaning into it. If you find it easy to do a video every single day, get on TikTok, start building your TikTok following, or get on Instagram and be creating reels. But if you're better at writing, or you're short on time and you can write something in like 3 or 4 minutes and put it out there, then LinkedIn's brilliant for that.
So we're going to go, but I want to ask this then. Are you saying that videos are not good on LinkedIn?
They're not the best. So over the last year, they've been promoting videos a lot more than what they have done in the past. And they even had like this little feature where at the bottom, the icons at the bottom, you could click on the video and it was like a TikTok type feed. So I believe like what people use LinkedIn for is not video. They're often at work. They might scroll through, read a few articles, read a few posts. They're not actively there to consume video. If they want to consume video, you've got YouTube that you can go to. You've got TikTok. You can go and watch videos on Instagram. Watching a video is much more of something that you do while you're relaxing, while you're at work, or like when you're on LinkedIn, it's more you're there to do some sort of business. You're there to network. You're not there to watch other people speaking on videos. That's just what I believe. So I don't think the video feature will be promoted massively for much longer.
That's interesting, because I put a video out today and I said to you, it's got the lowest interaction I've had in a long time. And this is streamed on LinkedIn as well, which is interesting. So maybe we don't need to put it on LinkedIn.
I think the live is probably slightly different. I think when people, although saying that, I don't ever go on live. I don't ever watch lives on LinkedIn. I'd much more be likely to watch lives on Facebook or something like that.
Yeah.
But the good thing about lives on LinkedIn is I do think it notifies people in the same way as Facebook. So if you're getting notifications about a person, they're seeing your name, they're getting used to, they're getting familiar with you, they're clicking through, they're viewing your profile, and that's like what we want people to be doing.
Visibility.
Exactly.
So
So
before we go off, any final questions for me before we go?
So I suppose like my final thought in my mind is you told us a lot about you help people to find your purpose, but you can do that in like what it takes you 10 minutes. What then? Why do people need to work with you after they've already discovered the purpose?
Because the purpose is almost like the cherry on the cake, and it's almost like a reverse re-engineering into your life. So then we start to unpack your life, and I'm the only person that I know that can detangle your life and give it back to you in the recipe that it was meant for. You you do start to, and these are buzzwords that I hate, but the lazy girl in me won't look for different words, but this is when you start to get, so you get certainty very quickly. Certainty is not an issue. You come to me, you get certainty straight away. The clarity is something that a lot of successful people don't have, because you're so knee deep into the work and stuff. And then also the confidence as well. A lot of successful people don't want you to know that they've lost confidence, but it's one of the first things to go, because like you say, you get sown seeds when you're very young, and those seeds stay with you. And when you go through really tough times, those seeds will germinate into weeds, and that's what holds you back. So there's, and then there's also like the maintenance side of things as well. You know, a lot of people come to me for maintenance, but if I'm really honest, a lot, like somebody came to me yesterday and I went, I'm coming to you not because I know what you do, but because I trust you and I know you can help me. And to be able to have clients where not only have they made astronomical amounts of money, that I've also helped them transform their lives, their families' lives, the knock-on effects it's had. I had 2 clients last year who reached financial freedom and emotional freedom. So it's a lot more than finding your purpose, but at least with that GPS, even if you never work with me again, you've got something to go with. But a lot of people come for more than that. Like they want to be able to, talk about money without sweating. They want to be. I asked a question the other day in my Money and Business Oracle program, and it was about money, or for them to start thinking about how much they wanted to make. And literally, people were patting themselves on the call because the anxiety that came up with just having that conversation. So being able to ask for money, and it's nothing to do with what you're worth. It's actually saying, this is the value that I give, and this is how much I'm commanding, without having to explain it and everything else and stuff. So being able to ask for a pay rise and not have to justify the pay rise, and being able to in a business, being able to do a quote for an amount and not feel apologetic. Especially women, we're designed very much to feel guilty around money and stuff. A lot of us feel as if we need to do exchanges, or need to give stuff away for free, or need to discount stuff and what have you and stuff. It's like there's all these silent ways of being apologetic without saying anything. But also being able to have the right opportunities and not feel as if somebody is out of our remit to be able to create an opportunity and what have you. So there's so much more that goes with us working together intuitively, and being able to create relationships, like really develop proper, steadfast and sustainable relationships where you can, like what we have, right? Like being able to have those, but also being able to say goodbye to relationships that don't serve us. And not, like sometimes having friendships could be like being in a bad relationship and stuff, and nobody wants that. So you need to be able to have the confidence to be able to walk away when it doesn't suit you, and still remember that purpose first, and then everything else later.
Brilliant. So I think like what you're saying is the purpose is actually like more like the end destination, and you're working with them to find out, right, how do we get there? How do we program that sat nav to your
yeah, the embodiment of the purpose is the final thing. So you can get your purpose, but some people, so the reason why a lot of people want to work with me, because they get the purpose but they don't know how to embody it.
Yeah.
So we go on a journey, because
Where do I
embodiment,
start?
right, where do I start? Thank you. That has been, you can tell the length of our conversation sometimes. This is our second call today, by the way.
It's not our last.
No, it isn't our last. Oh my God. Listen, I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for those of you that have stayed on. Thanks for the likes and the loves, and for Rochelle's mum, who has clarified that she's lied and that she never shuts up and everything else. And we will be back next week. If there is a topic that you think, do you know what, I'd love you guys to touch on that. If you feel like you would be a great addition to the panel to step in and be part of the panel for a particular day, then let us know what you want to talk about. Just drop me a message, what you'd love to talk about, and your availability dates. We'll have a look at it, and if it aligns, we will invite you on. But until next time, have a great Wednesday, whatever you're doing, and we'll speak to you soon.
Bye.